All right, welcome back. Now, let's just wrap up our conversation with Mr. Fenter from our studios in Pretoria, whereby we're looking at the infestation of the fall armyworm that's been detected in some provinces here in South Africa. Now, just before we went to the news at 8, Mr. Fenter, we made mention of the fact that this is not the first time we're seeing this happening here in South Africa. So, are there plans, perhaps, maybe that are put in place by the Department of Agriculture?
Yes, since the beginning of the outbreak in 2017, we started the steering committee where we engage on at least a monthly basis with all the stakeholders in South Africa. But we also extended that to the FAO, and later today, for instance, we will have another meeting with the FAO and the SADC Secretariat. So we continuously talk about this space and look at where can we learn from each other within the region. So the plans that we have in place is to ensure that all the departments of agriculture continues also with scouting and to report incidences and outbreaks to the National Department of Agriculture, so that we can monitor the situation and know where to respond to areas which is really in a big demise. What we also did is to do the registration of all the products, and we've now developed a model for fall armyworm for South Africa, which is still in draft format, but that will soon be finalized. And that is basically taking all of the information and documents and training initiatives in place. Another initiative, as I said, in training, was that we've started to train a train-the-trainer program where we train extension support officers and provincial officers as well as DAFF personnel on how to identify this pest, because this pest is not the only maize caterpillar in our maize. There's quite a number of them, and it's important that we don't get false reports, and it's important that we know what goes where. So part of the initiatives then to extend that was to ensure that our producers knows what to do when they detect a pest on their farm. And one is to notify to the department, and that is part of a legislation that's been developed, but also that they have access to information, and all of that's on the departmental website. Available.
All right, but in terms of financial implications, because I was reading a report that indicated that some 12 African countries have actually lost more than $6.1 million due to such financial implications.
In South Africa, we really have not determined or find a way to calculate that accurately. That's one of the things that we have to develop, and that is a damage assessment model that is scientifically justified. It is very difficult to determine what is the exact damage of fall armyworm, while there's also 6 or 7 other caterpillars eating on the same crop, as well as the time of planting and other influences such as pesticides that's been used, etc. So to determine the exact damage is actually not that easy to calculate. And for that we need a research project that soon will be hopefully off the ground, so that we can have a proper damage assessment model that can be used. In the meantime, we've got a draft, and what is used as on a field basis, and that is basically just calculating the damage per field on the damage of leaves and ears and even copse. But we also seen that some of the young maize that's infested can actually recover later on, and then the crop harvest is not that damaged. As you would have known, is last year we actually had a bumper crop. So fall armyworm had a very insignificant damage role to play if you compare it with a complete harvest.
Okay.
And we suspect it may be the same this year.
All right. We'll leave it at that for now, Mr. Fenter. Thank you so much for coming through. Jan-Hendrik is the manager at the Plant Health Early Warning Systems for the Department of Agriculture, talking to us about this infestation of fall armyworm that has been detected in some provinces here in South Africa. We're taking a quick